Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Saptashi Shiman. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Saptashi Shiman. Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atarajani niryate Rama ashrama agataha Shrutva tatasya daryatmyam Chukrodhahir ivahataha Atarajani niryate Rama ashrama agataha Shrutva tatasya duryatmyam Chukrodhahir ivahataha Atarajani niryate Rama ashrama agataha Shrutva tatasya duryatmyam Chukrodhahir ivahataha. Ashrama agataha Shrutva tatasya duryatmyam Chukrodhahir ivahataha. Vaishnavis Atarajani niryate Ata, thereafter, Rajani, when the king, Niryate, had gone away, Ramaha, Parashuram, the youngest son of Jamadagni, Ashrame, in the cottage, Agataha, returned, Shrutva, when he heard, Tat, that, Tasya, of Kartavirya Arjuna, Duryatmyam, nefarious act, Chukrodha, became extremely angry, Ahi, a snake, Iva, like, Ahataha, trampled or injured. Translation. Thereafter, Kartavirya Arjuna, having left with the Kamadhenu, Parashuram returned to the ashram. When Parashuram, the youngest son of Jamadagni, heard about Kartavirya Arjuna's nefarious deed, he became as angry as a trampled snake. Text 28. Ghoram adaya parushum satunam varma karmukam anvadavata durmarsho murgendra ivayutapam. Taking up his fierce chopper, his shield, his bow, and a quiver of arrows, Lord Parashuram, exceedingly angry, chased Kartavirya Arjuna just as a lion chases an elephant. Tam apatantam briguvaryam ojasa dhanurdharam bana parasvadha yudham aineya charma baram arkadhamabhir yutam jatabhir tadrishe purim vishan. As King Kartavirya Arjuna entered his capital, Mahishmati Puri, he saw Lord Parashuram, the best of the Bhrigu dynasty, coming after him, holding a chopper, shield, bow, and arrows. Lord Parashuram was covered with a black deer skin, and his matted locks of hair appeared like the sunshine. Achodaya yad dasti ratasvapatibir gadasi banarshti satagni shaktibihi akshohini sapta dasati bishanas taram eko bhagavan ashudhayat. Upon seeing Parashuram, Kartavirya Arjuna immediately feared him and sent many elephants, chariots, horses, and infantry soldiers equipped with clubs, swords, arrows, rishtis, satagnis, shaktis, and many similar weapons to fight against him. Kartavirya Arjuna sent 17 full akshohinis of soldiers to check Parashuram, but Lord Parashuram alone killed all of them. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The word akshohini refers to a military phalanx consisting of 21,870 chariots and elephants, 109,350 infantry soldiers, and 65,610 horses. An exact description is given in the Mahabharata, Adiparva, 2nd chapter, as follows. We'll skip the Sanskrit there and go to the translation. 1 chariot, 1 elephant, 5 infantry soldiers, and 3 horses are called a pati by those who are learned in the science. The wise also know that a sena mukha is 3 times what a pati is. 3 sena mukhas are known as 1 gulma, 3 gulmas are called a gana, and 3 ganas are called a vahini. 3 vahinis have been referred to by the learned as a pritana. 3 pritanas equal 1 chamu, and 3 chamus equal 1 anikini. The wise refer to 10 anikinis as 1 Aukshauhini. The chariots of an Aukshauhini have been calculated at 21,870 by those who know the science of such calculations, O best of the twice-born, and the number of elephants is the same. The number of infantry soldiers is 109,350, and the number of horses is 65,610. This is called an Aukshauhini. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmiditam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutade Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I sincerely seek the blessings of the senior Vaishnavas so that I may speak appropriately. And our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta is given to us by Srila Prabhupada. So we are continuing with the story of Lord Parashuram. And the Lord's pastimes are all transcendental. And they're purifying. Srinvatam svakata Krishna punya shravanam kirtanam vidunoti saritsatam. That the heart is purified. All the dirty things are taken out of the heart when we hear and chant about the Lord's pastimes and when we hear the Lord's message. All the pastimes of the Lord are transcendental and absolute. Whether Krishna is dancing with the gopis or in his form as Lord Parashuram, he's killing the rogues and thieves 21 times. So the Lord's pastimes are all transcendental. And somebody might say that, well, I don't want to hear about Parashuram killing and so much war and violence. I'd rather hear about sweet Braj Leela. But all the Lord's pastimes are on the same platform, absolute, transcendental. And it's very difficult for us to understand the Lord's pastimes when we're coming to the pastimes on a material platform. Atta Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavad-grayam Indriyai Sevan Mukhe Hijivado Swayameva Sparatyada. Now we need to engage the senses in the service of the Lord, beginning with the tongue, so that we can purify the senses, make them spiritual, so that we can properly understand the science of devotional service. Otherwise we cannot understand the Lord's activities properly. And will make distinctions of which pastimes of the Lord are better than the others. So Lord Parashuram, in these texts that we've just read, he's just picked up his Parashu. So Parashuram means Ram with a chopper, with an axe, Parashuram. And Kartavir Arjuna, he's taken the Kamadhenu cow of Jamadagni. And so Parashuram has gone to face the king, to kill the king. And Kartavir Arjuna, he was so afraid of Lord Parashuram that he sent 17 Aukshauhinis, of which we went over what the military phalanx consisted of. And I hope you all remember, because you'll all be tested on how many horses and how many elephants. Just kidding. But Srila Prabhupada quotes from Mahabharata the wonderful, amazing size of the military phalanxes that they had back then. It's really mind-boggling that 17 full Aukshauhinis of soldiers came to check Parashuram, and yet alone, with his chopper, he killed all of them. It's amazing. The Lord killed all of them. And so this proves that The Lord is so powerful. Rake Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rake Ke. If Krishna wants to save you, who can kill you? But if Krishna wants to kill you, then who can save you? Kartavirya Arjuna thought that his 17 Akshauhinis would save him, but he was very, very wrong. And Lord Parashuram, we know he kills Kartavirya Arjuna. And in Sanatan Shiksha, teachings of Srila Sanatan Goswami, which is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 20, we read there that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu places Parashuram as a Shaktivesh avatar. So Parashuram is a Shaktivesh avatar, a jiva that is empowered by the Lord. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the specific Shakti, the specific power that Parashuram had was Dushta Daman Shakti. He was specifically meant to kill all the rogues and thieves. And it's very interesting how Parashuram, his Shaktivesh avatar, he killed Kartavirya Arjuna, who was the king. But he's a Brahmana, and later on we'll see that his father actually chastises Parashuram, saying that you're a Brahmana and you're supposed to forgive. That's the power of the Brahmanas. You're supposed to forgive. Why did you kill him? He's the representative. He's the king. But we see that even Kartavirya Arjuna and the other Kshatriyas at that time, they were not acting as proper Kshatriyas, because the Kshatriyas are supposed to protect all of the citizens. They're supposed to protect especially the Brahmanas. But Kartavirya Arjuna, he was so puffed up with pride that he felt that this Kamadhenu cow should be mine. And we've read different history of Vishvamitra Muni had the same idea. He was a king, he stole the cow of Vishishta, and he was very much humbled. So here Parashuram, he's very much humbling the Kshatriyas who have been puffed up with power, that they're not protecting them anymore. And all power actually comes from Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo metta sarvam pravartate. Krishna, he's created the material and spiritual worlds. He's created everything. Everything comes from Krishna. Even knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance come from Krishna. And yet living entities, they might gain a little bit of Shakti, a little bit of power, such as Kartavirya Arjuna, because of doing austerities and penances to Dattatreya, he was able to achieve 1,000 arms and so many mystic powers that he was even able to capture Ravana. The demigods, different demigods, were struggling just to deal with Ravana, yet Kartavirya Arjuna was able to capture Ravana. That's how much power Kartavirya Arjuna had. But he was so puffed up that he was misbehaving. He wasn't following his proper dharma as a kshatriya. And so Parashuram came and killed him. And actually, Lord Parashuram actually also was not following his so-called Brahminical dharma, but he is the Lord. And the Lord can act in so many different ways. And so we see that all power comes from Krishna. And a nice, beautiful example of this is when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. And when the Lord disappears from this world, Maharaj Yudhishthira, he sees all kinds of different bad omens going on. And Arjuna actually went to Dwarka to see Krishna to see if everything was okay. But when Arjuna went, he found out that the Lord had left this material world, went back to his own abode. And Arjuna was in such separation, and he was supposed to protect the wives of Krishna. And yet when he was taking the wives of Krishna to a place, these, what he says, idle cowherd men defeated Arjuna. Now how is this possible that Arjuna, who in the battle of Kurukshetra defeated so many different enemies like Karna, he went up against Bhishma, he went up against so many different warriors. And he even talks to Maharaj Yudhishthira in his prayers of separation. He's talking to Maharaj Yudhishthira about how he had put out the fire of the Khandava forest. He even battled Lord Shiva and defeated Lord Shiva. And yet, when Arjuna was trying to protect the wives of Krishna, he was defeated by a cowherd man. And so Srila Prabhupada actually states that since the Lord's mission was completed of getting rid of the burden of the world, of the Kshatriyas, there was no need for Arjuna to hold any more of his power. There was no need for Arjuna to be as strong as he was. The Lord empowered him to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, and when the Lord's mission was over, that power was no longer needed. And so Arjuna, he couldn't even defend himself. Even though he still had his Gandiva bow, he couldn't even save himself from these cowherd men. So we see that all power comes from Krishna. All forgetfulness, all remembrance, everything comes from Krishna. And yet living entities become puffed up, and they stop appreciating what the Lord has given them, thinking that I am the Lord and controller. And we just meditated on Govardhan Puja, and Lord Indra had the same mentality. He was thinking that, who is this little boy who's disrupting my yajna? And I'm sure we'll hear more of that this Thursday. And so the Kshatriyas are cut down by Parshuram 21 times, and we'll read later on that the number 21 is when Lord Parshuram, he goes to his cottage and he sees his mother, and the sons of Kartavir Arjuna have killed Parshuram's father. And so Parshuram's mother beats her chest 21 times. And so Parshuram vows that as many times as you have beaten your chest, I'm going to destroy the Kshatriyas. And so the Lord comes to reestablish Dharma. And if you allow me, I'd like to read a very beautiful, powerful purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, Text 8. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, as we have discussed many times, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, has many plenary expansions, and each and every one of them, although equally powerful, executes different functions. In Bhagavad Gita, there are different statements by the Lord, and each of these statements is meant for different plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions. So portions, plenary portions, Angsa, and we know that Parshuram earlier on was referred to as Vasudeva Angsa, plenary portion of Vasudeva. So Srila Prabhupada continues, for example, Sri Krishna, the Lord, says in Bhagavad Gita, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of a religion, at that time I descend myself. Bhagavad Gita 4.7. To deliver the faithful, to annihilate the miscreants, and also to reestablish the principles of occupational duty, I appear in every age. If I should cease to work, then all humanity would be misdirected. I would also be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all sentient beings. Whatever action a great man performs, common men will follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. All the above statements by the Lord apply to different plenary portions of the Lord, namely his expansions, such as Sankarshan, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Narayan. These are all he himself in different transcendental expansions, and still the Lord as Sri Krishna functions in a different sphere of transcendental exchange with different grades of devotees. And yet, Lord Krishna, as he appears once every 24 hours of Brahma's time, or after a lapse of 8,640,000,000 solar years, in each and every universe, and all his transcendental pastimes are displayed in each and every universe in a routine spool. But in that routine spool, the functions of Lord Krishna, Lord Vasudeva, etc., are complex problems for the layman. There is no difference between the Lord's self and the Lord's transcendental body. The expansions execute different activities. When the Lord, however, appears in his person as Lord Sri Krishna, his other plenary portions also join in him by his inconceivable potency called Yogamaya, and thus the Lord Krishna of Vrindavan is different from the Lord Krishna of Mathura or the Lord Krishna of Dwarka. So Krishna himself comes not just to get rid of the demons. This is actually meant for his expansions and for his plenary expansions. As Srila Prabhupada has stated in that purport, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we read that the scriptures proclaim that Lord Krishna previously descended to take away the burden of the earth. To take away this burden, however, is not the work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The maintainer, Lord Vishnu, is the one who protects the universe. But the time to lift the burden of the world mixed with the time for Lord Krishna's incarnation. When the complete Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, all other incarnations of the Lord meet together within him. Lord Narayan, the four primary expansions, Matsya and the other Leela incarnations, the Yuga avatars, the Manvantar incarnations, and as many other incarnations as they are, all descend in the body of Lord Krishna. In this way, the complete Supreme Godhead, Lord Krishna himself, appears. At that time, therefore, Lord Vishnu is present in the body of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna kills the demons through him. Thus, the killing of the demons is but secondary work. I shall now speak of the main reason for the Lord's incarnation. The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. The Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God, and he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant and as the most merciful of all. Skip ahead just a little bit. Krishna states that taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. And so, in this month of Damodar, in this month of Kartik, we're reading every day, chanting the beautiful prayers of the Damodarashtakam. And we're hearing at the same time the powerful Shakti of Parashuram to kill all the rogues and thieves. So the Lord, Krishna himself, is Purna Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He actually comes not just to kill the demons, not just to get rid of the burden of the earth, but to perform sweet pastimes with his devotees. And by performing those sweet pastimes, then the living entities in this world can also try to get a glimpse of the love of the residents of Vrindavan. Now, isn't it amazing that as Lord Nrsingadev, Krishna kills Hiranyakashipu, there's no fear. As Lord Parashuram, he's killing Kartavya Arjuna and so many Kshatriyas. As Ram, he kills Ravana. So in his different incarnations, he's so powerful, he's so strong, but yet when he comes as Lord Krishna, he's shivering in fright of Mother Yashoda. Now, who can understand the pastimes of Krishna? That Krishna, Purna Bhagavan, all the different incarnations are within him, and yet he's afraid of Mother Yashoda. He's shivering in fright, and his pearl necklace is shaking. And so Krishna himself, he comes to perform such wonderful pastimes to attract all living entities back to their constitutional position as servants of Krishna. And this year also is the 500th anniversary of Lord Chaitanya going to Vrindavan. And so in Vrindavan they're going to have a very wonderful celebration this week about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how he went to Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya, through Srila Prabhupada, spread Vrindavan throughout the whole world. Each temple is none different than Vrindavan if we have the eyes and the gratitude to see it. So actually Srila Prabhupada gave us so much that when we really start to think about Srila Prabhupada's activities, when we really try to understand what Srila Prabhupada has given us, every year trying to perform devotional service, trying to associate with the devotees, trying just to chant 16 rounds every day, trying to read Srila Prabhupada's books. To really understand what Srila Prabhupada has given us is not just a small thing. It's actually very, very deep. And, sometimes, a lot of times I take it for granted. I just kind of coast through my devotional service, and, there's moments where I sit back and I really think what Srila Prabhupada has given the world. The prayers that we sing in the morning time, what to speak of the Damodar month, where we're able to really go deeply into what Gaudiya Vaishnavism is all about. It's such a deep thing, and we can actually never really repay Srila Prabhupada. We can never repay our gurus for what they've given us, for what the senior Vaishnavas have given us. So it's a very deep thing, and we should take it very seriously. And by doing that, we'll be able to really help others. We see in this world that there's so many crazy things going on. We're reading about the burden of the earth in the pastimes of Parashuram, but now there's so much war and there's so much strife, homelessness, poverty. All around the world there's so much chaos going on. People are really calling for revolution. And Krishna consciousness is that call. The avatar in the age of Kali is not just Lord Chaitanya, but the holy name also. And as we take the holy name sincerely and try to give the holy name to others, then that revolution will come. And Srila Prabhupada will, his legacy will go on. So I'll stop there if there's any questions or comments. Rabindranath Prabhu. Well, I guess in the Shastras there's these 6 aggressors, and actually the Kshatriyas are the ones that will do the punishing. The Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Sudras, they will not do the punishing, but the Kshatriyas are supposed to maintain the law. They're supposed to punish. And Parashuram, as we've read before, he's a Brahmana, but because of his mother switching the she had the the nectar. So she switched the nectar, and so it stated that her grandson would be a Brahmana, but with a Kshatriya spirit. So Lord Parashuram, he's actually acting as a Kshatriya, and he's taking out Kartavira Arjuna and the Kshatriyas who are not properly performing their duties. Actually, they're transgressing the Brahminical, they're transgressing against the Brahmanas. They stole a Brahmana's property. And so because of that offense, Parashuram went and killed Kartavira Arjuna. But then later on, he kills the Kshatriyas 21 times because they go in even further. They kill a Brahmana. So, and it gets very intricate because even later on, his father, who's a Brahmana, he's actually saying that, if we read on, he actually makes the statement that killing a Kshatriya is even worse than killing a Brahmana. But I thought killing a Brahmana was even worse than killing a Kshatriya. So it gets very intricate. Archita Prabhu.
Well, he asked specifically about thieves.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a little thieves, those thieves who lose their hands, and the big thieves who lose their heads. In that list of 6 aggressors, it says one who, steals great wealth can be killed. One who usurps agricultural fields, one who, the list is there. So a big thief can be killed. The small thieves would just lose their hands.
Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada, didn't he quote often that in certain countries, you could put gold out in the middle of the market or in the middle of the center of the town, and because of capital punishment, being there, nobody would even touch that gold. But in today, we capital punishment is actually very looked down upon, isn't it? That nobody wants to even get into a discussion of capital punishment. But Bhakti Jack Prabhu or Andrea.
Thank you for such a nice class, Prabhu. You mentioned how we can never repay Srila Prabhupada for what he's given us. But I just wanted to add that His Holiness Giriraj Swami once told me that he quoted Srila Prabhupada. He said, even though you'll never be able to repay the spiritual master, you should still try to, and by trying to, you should preach.
Try. Bhakti Jack.
Thank you, Bal Gopal. I was just wondering, since Krishna, when he destroyed the demons in his like full incarnation, they became liberated. Is it the same? Do these Kshatriyas that Parasuram killed, do they get any benefit from meeting the Lord in this way, or what happens? Like, what's their fate?
We can say that yes, they do get a form of liberation, because the Lord is, anything that the Lord does, it's purifying. But there is, to quote Shastra, in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami describes how Lord Nrsingadev and Lord Ram, when they killed the demons, they don't get full liberation, because he talks about how Jai and Vijay are eternal associates of Vaikuntha. And so the Lord's pastimes are always going on eternally. Lord Nrsingadev, Lord Ram, the pastimes are always going on eternally. But Jai and Vijay are not always coming down. That was a one-time exception. And so other jivas, they fill in the demons. They fill in the spots for the demons. And so actually, Srila Rupa Goswami, quoting Parashar Muni, actually from Vishnu Purana, it states that when Lord Nrsingadev kills Hiranyakashipu, who's not Jai, who's a jiva, another jiva, that he does not get automatic liberation because he's not able to understand that Lord Nrsingadev is Krishna. And because his mind is so polluted by gold, by lust and greed. And so he does actually take birth again as Ravana. And then still as Ravana just, because he's so infatuated with Sita, because of his lust, he can't understand that Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He just thinks he's a regular human. So it's not until Krishna, Dantavakra and Shishupal, they're killed, and then they're fully liberated. They go back home, back to Godhead. So he quotes this, stating that unless they have the proper mentality that it actually is the Supreme Lord, still they'll take their birth again and be killed by the Lord again until they're fully liberated. But still, whatever the Lord does is completely transcendental, so they will get benefit. Krishna Prabhu, or
thank you for a very nice class, Prabhu. I was just wondering, do you know where, if it's stated anywhere, that Parashuram was in fact a direct incarnation of Krishna? Or not just a Shaktivesh
in Chaitanya
avatar?
Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says he's a Shaktivesh avatar. And he says the four Kumars, Narada Muni, Parashuram, they're all Shaktivesh avatars. And even in the purport, Srila Prabhupada lists all the Shaktivesh avatars and lists the particular Shakti that the Lord has given them. Prabhu?
The question is about on the same line, that it's like by the time that we consider, like Lord Chaitanya considers the four Kumars as Shaktivesh avatar, or Srila Prabhupada considers Lord Jesus as Shaktivesh avatar, or we kind of loosely maybe consider Srila Prabhupada as Shakti Avatar, we don't refer to these personalities as the same as Krishna. You know, there are like specific functions with like a specific potency, right? So my confusion is that it's like, why did you like refer to Parashuram as the supreme personality? You know, none different with Krishna. You know, so that was my confusion.
So just because in the Sanatana Shiksha, actually all the incarnations of the Lord
this
are
is Shakta
Krishna.
Avatar are jivas, right? As you rightly mentioned, right?
And
So
so
they're
even-
different with Krishna.
And a nice place to go and read is in the 4th canto, where Maharaj Prithu is also Shakti Avatar. He's a jiva, but yet the demigods and the other personalities that are glorifying him glorify him as the supreme personality of Godhead, and even when they're talking about his activities. And so in the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes a very nice point that through the acharyas we have to understand properly the incarnations of the Lord. And even sometimes Narada Muni is known as Bhagavan Narada, or even the 4 Kumars, they're seen as Shakti Avatars. So the pastime, the incarnations of the Lord are many, even Manvantar incarnations, right? Manvantar, they're jivas, but yet they're still considered the incarnations of Krishna. And so there's the angsas and the, you know, we can get very technical, svangsas, the vilas, Vaibhava Prakash expansions of Krishna. We can go down, and there's so many, it says that the incarnations of the Lord are as many as drops in the sea. But there are Mukhya and Gona Shakti Avatars in that specific chapter, and in that section it's stated that there are greater and lesser Shakti Avatars. And even one can say that Anantashesh, in the material world, he's Shakti Avatar, and Anantashesh in the spiritual world, he's still considered a Shakti Avatar, who he's directly expansion of Lord Balaram. So we cannot understand through our material senses that, you know, he's a jiva and he's a Shakti Avatar. We shouldn't glorify him as being an avatar of the Lord, because Shastra glorifies those Shakti Avatars as the Lord also. Archita Prabhu.
Beta Tata. Every jiva is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. It's not like there's, they come from some other place. They're part of Krishna. We're all part of Krishna. So that's why we're singing every morning, Shakshadarittoina Samasta Shastra. The spiritual master is to be honored as good as the Supreme Lord, and properly explained. There's the Supreme Personality of served Godhead, and then there's the Supreme Personality of servitor Godhead. So the jiva and the Lord can be seen as equal, but still they're not equal. So what to speak of one who's specifically empowered, any jiva can be seen in that way. What to speak of one who's specifically empowered as a Shakti Avatar, sure. You can refer to him as Lord, Bhagavan, Sri Narada, etc., etc. There's no harm.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.